So Shabnam, we spoke about FHSA and how it's better than RRSP program. Can you shed some light on it?
Yes, this is probably one of my favorite topics with first-time home buyers. So the FHSA, I would say, is probably one of the best first-time home buyer benefits
In a long time.
in a long time. One of the government incentive programs that I would say is actually really good, and I'm glad they came up with it. So traditionally, the RRSP program was the program that we would recommend to everyone, where people would contribute money into an RSP, get a tax receipt, and then they could take it out tax-free, but then have to put it back in over the course of 15 years after the home ownership purchase. So that was essentially borrowing money from their own RSP. It wasn't really like them getting that benefit to one tax-free, because if they didn't put that money back, they would get taxed on it. Now with the FHSA, they can actually, it's a lot of similarities to the RSP program, because what the client can do is they can actually put money in an FHSA, get the tax receipt the exact same way that they would with the RSP. But when they purchase their home and they have an accepted offer, they can pull out the money tax-free, and they do not have to recontribute the money back.
That's the biggest factor.
It's the biggest factor. That's a game changer. And when it comes to flexibility as well, like with RSPs, there's minimum vesting periods. So you have to have funds in the account for 3 months, and then you have to really plan out your RSP contribution and your home closing, and it could delay your home ownership journey. Whereas with FHSA, there's no such vesting periods. So it's less restrictive, which is really good. So for somebody who's paying, who's in the 44% tax bracket, an FHSA product, for example, could save them $3,000, $3,500 in taxes. And it's a quick opening of an account, putting the money in there, and then taking it out when you buy the house. So it doesn't take time, but it's a really good benefit, and it can save the client a lot of money.
So benefit number one is they don't have to put money back into the borrowed money that they took from their account.
Yes.
And secondly, they can contribute the maximum 8K per family member compared to 35K.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a downside.
That is a little bit of a downside, because with RSP, you get 35K of contribution room, provided you have that contribution room and you haven't actually used it in the past. So you have to check your notice of assessment to see if you have that capability. With FHSA, the limit is lower. It's $8,000 per year. But what's really important is, and the other big difference is with RSPs, let's say you haven't ever contributed, but let's say you've been working for 10 years. Your room automatically grows and grows each year. Right. So 1 year, like 10 years down the road, you could open that account and you could maybe have 100,000 of RSP room to contribute that into. With FHSA, you actually don't keep carrying forward that room. You have to open the account so that the timeline, because the timeline from when your actual room starts to accumulate, the contribution limit, is from the time that you open the account, not from the time that this program was set up.
Okay.
So for someone who wants to start or buy a house this year or next year, the time to open this account would be right now. All the banks have this product, and it's a very easy setup. Open it now, even if you're not going to buy this year. Definitely open it if you're going to buy, but even if you're not going to buy, open it so that the clock can start ticking and you can actually build up contribution room for this particular tax year.
Okay, great. So just to summarize, if anybody is planning to buy home in 2024 or next year, they should immediately open FHSA account and they start contributing towards it. Any bank, or I would say all the banks, have the permission to open this account. Yes. And you can contribute 8,000 per person and 16,000 as a couple.
Yes.
And it is completely tax deductible.
Yeah.
Whenever, let's say you collect maybe 40K in next couple of years, and the amount that you'll contribute towards your home purchase, you don't have to put it back into your, just like RSP, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And in that case, it becomes a very powerful way of saving that money towards your home buying journey.
Absolutely. And think about it this way. If you have 8,000 of savings today to put in, and you put it in today, and you get a $3,500 or $4,000 tax refund from the government, next year when you file your taxes and you get that refund, now for your next $8,000, the government is actually giving you a refund, so you can actually use that towards
instead of going on vacation with that,
yeah,
put it back into your account and use it towards your home purchase.
Exactly.
That's great. No, thanks. That is, I think, going to be a game changer compared to the RSP.
Yes.
There are so many downsides to it. I think they have worked on those and they have came up with this brilliant program.
Yeah.
For first-time buyers.
And you can use it in combination with RSPs. So if you have RSPs already, you plan on using them. It's both programs can be used
Together.
in tandem, yeah, which is very powerful as well.
So this is more like a combination of RSP and TFSA, if I'm not wrong.
That's right. That's what they say. Yeah. Because any growth that happens within the first home savings account fund, so let's say you open the account, you put your savings in it, and then the savings are invested in a GIC or a mutual fund, and that 8,000 becomes 9,000 before you buy, that growth is also tax-free.
That's amazing.
So that's the tax-free component of the fund that comes in.
Oh, that's amazing.